Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and we're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. It is June the 1st, 2023. Current challenge, Arkham Knight Harley Quinn. 1 week repeat. Required characters are Sinestro, Black Adam, and Batman. Cheapest you can get those characters are bronze, silver, and gold, but they are all available in the store. Her passive, this one's for Mr. J. When the enemy tags in, Harley may perform a surprise attack if she is tagged out. If the Joker's knocked out on Harley's team, she gains full power. She's got 1100 attack and 1300 health, and she was last available August 4th, 2022. So, like all the Harley Quinns, she's a great support character, and she's able to heal her teammates. She's not the strongest, Suicide Squad Harley Quinn is, but she's fun as an entry hazard, or in other words, doing damage to an opponent that's tagging in, making her very useful on a defensive team. Take a look at some of our previous fights. We've got them linked in the description. So, take a look at her passive. I'll get rid of the useless part first. Gaining full power when a Joker's knocked out. It can be fun, but gaining power quickly by having your teammates be knocked out is not unique or a great strategy if you've got the Tantu Totem as an alternative for generating power. So either your Joker is strong enough to be contributing, so you don't get to take advantage of this passive much, or he's so weak that you're playing with an unbalanced team. And I recognize that unbalanced teams have become much more popular because of Scopus Gaming strategy, but it also means that you're going to be more limited in both your team member options as well as promotions if you're going to do that just to make Arkham Knight Harley Quinn your star. Even before the Tantu Totem, it's hard to play to maximize that whole getting power from knocking out Joker teammate part of her passive, because if you're leaving the Joker out until he's knocked out, here's the problem. The longer he's fighting, the more power Harley Quinn generates off screen. The more power she generates off screen, the less valuable the power that he gives her, because she's already got some from hanging out off screen. Or if the Joker is weak and gets knocked out quickly, you're wasting a team slot to get power when you can achieve a lot of that with her gear slots instead. It would probably be a more viable option if her Special 2 did more damage. The problem is her Special 2 gives up half the power to make it unblockable, or half the damage. So the Joker portion of her passive is more of a backup than something you can plan your strategy around. But the other part of her passive, it's a neat trick that if you give her Tantu Totem and she happens to do the surprise attack, she generates a bar of power because her surprise attack passive counts as a tag-in. And that's great on defense. It's not so great on offense because if she's a star in your team and has Tantu Totem, leaving her off screen in the hopes of triggering her passive makes your fights slower. She's got extra hits on her combo ender to take advantage of any gears that have a combo ender effect. And even though it isn't Catwoman's week, the team that we're demonstrating that you can watch in the background right now, Arkham Knight Catwoman is the main damage dealer. It's a pretty good team. And Arkham Knight Catwoman is the specialist. I want to point out to you on the 6th fight, which should be around the 8-minute mark, so another 4 minutes, where you will see the team handling a full Blackest Night Flash team, which is usually what you'd expect to be a sort of weakness of this team that relies so much on damage over time. Handles them pretty, I won't say easily, comfortably. Involves a bit of work, definitely manageable. So this is 158 weeks of a repeating pattern for the challenge characters that first appeared May 2020. We've had 3 complete cycles, complete runs of a 43-week cycle, plus 29 weeks now of the 4th cycle. And if the pattern holds, next week will be Arkham Origins Bane. And again, 23 challenge characters that are still missing. I think we might be addressing that in the next Q&A, which is either next week or the week after. This week's multiplayer reward is Soultaker Sword, which starts off as Ancient Katana. When maxed out, there's a 30% unblockable chance on basic attacks, 50% life drain chance on Special 2, and when max evolved, it's 15% damage drain from defeated enemies, and it stacks twice. Last available October 27th, 2022. That's 126 weeks in a row of a consistent pattern. 4 complete cycles of a 31 reward sequence, and second in a new 5th cycle. Unlike the challenge cycle, nothing is missing for multiplayer rewards, and if the pattern holds, next week should be metahuman Flash. So it's a good piece of legendary gear, and if you go through all the parts, the elements of its abilities, the damage drain, absolutely unique. It can be really useful, and in some ways almost irreplaceable during the later stages of Survivor when the opponents have a huge damage stat to drain and a huge health stat to take down. I mean, the other alternative besides trying to increase your own damage would be to use gears that do an amount of damage that's dependent on the opponent's health, because you see that a lot with some of the newer strategies. Like I think the example would be using Aquaman's Atlantean Hero and then doing repeated bleeds against the opponent. But outside of that those kind of strategies, this Soultaker Sword used to be one of the most important gears if you want to get past the late stages in Survivor. Outside of Survivor, it's a good gear, but maybe not that legendary. And if you look at the other abilities, the unblockable chance, it's good. The only other gear that offers unblockable chance to all characters are Massive Sharpened Teeth with 20% and Custom Rifle, which is only 11%. So this 30% is pretty good. There are lots of character-specific ones like Mutated Bone Spikes for Doomsday, Knife Collection for Solomon Grundy, Hyper Speed Plated Suit for Flash, the Power to Scream Sticks for Nightwing, and Martian Manhunter has the Martian Hunter garb, but they're all character-specific. The other ability, Life Drain, on Special 2 is only 50%. Way better is LexCorp Chestplate, which is 100% chance. And the reason why it's not so great outside of Survivor, the damage drain doesn't make much difference against opponents that have damage that's close to yours. The other two abilities, they're okay, but they're not attractive enough to use in your typical loadout. The reason why damage drain isn't that useful in regular play is how closely you're matched to your opponents. So you get 15% for each defeated enemy. At most, it counts twice anyways. They don't even have to tell you that, because once you've knocked out 3 guys, the fight's over. So it's 2 you can knock out, so you max out at 30% damage drain of any enemy. And if it's in multiplayer, they're going to be pretty close in your stats. I mean, that's nothing. 30% is almost nothing compared to, say, 70% basic damage boost of your own damage from the beginning of the fight that you can get with a bunch of different 3.5-star gears. Now, I will say that damage boost across the board for both basic and specials from the Soultaker Sword is better than just a basic damage boost, but the amount of boost isn't enough, and it's hard to have one character optimized for both basic damage and specials damage. So this little difference where you boost damage for both, it's not nearly as useful as you'd like. However, where you see your opponent's damage being a lot more than yours in Survivor, the chance of you being able to use the one guy with the Soultaker Sword to knock them out is pretty good. In a multiplayer fight where you've got to keep somebody, in order to take advantage of that, you keep somebody like really low stats, the chance of them being the only one out of your 3 to knock them out, that's pretty small. So it makes it really hard to take advantage of this gear's ability outside of Survivor. In the store, we have a couple new packs. The Icebreaker pack, it's $24.99, and it's been that price. Oh, and that's Canadian dollars, of course. That's the only currency that matters. And it's been that price since it was released, except I think the first time it was $26.99, and since then it's been $24.99. You get Killer Frost, you get Killer Frost Regime, and you get Luchador Bane. They're all challenge characters, so not an awful pack. Still a little bit pricey. The most interesting thing this week is a Survivor pack that returns. It is for 595,000 power credits. You get Arkham Origins Deathstroke, Batgirl, and Containment Doomsday. They're all pretty good. I think Containment Doomsday doesn't get nearly as much credit as he deserves. Arkham Origins Deathstroke, good offensive threat with the passive that scales up with the promotions. Batgirl, despite having relatively low stats, because of her Batgirl Special 1, because of her passive giving all her teammates power, still really relevant. Why it's interesting is because I think, where is it? Let's see. We had another Survivor pack just last month, about a month ago, and these don't come around that often. If it follows what happened back in 2021, I want to say, it's 2021 September, and then October, that was the same order of the last time Survivor pack and this time, then maybe if we get lucky in another month and a half, we'll get another Survivor pack of Teen Titans Cyborg, animated Harley Quinn, and animated Batman Beyond. But we'll see. I mean, never really been much rhyme or reason. They come so infrequently that it's hard to predict any kind of pattern with them. And for second week, we get the character bundle Dark Side War, which you talked about last week. Yeah, not that great a pack. We've got a bunch of other packs that have been around for more than a year, so we won't get into those. What else? Phantom Zone is still finished. Fight 62 is still broken. Last weekend's breakthrough for golds was, as expected, Cyborg, Batgirl, and Black Adam. This coming weekend's is probably going to be Deadshot, Wonder Woman, and Static. And link in the description to a thread in the Injustice Mobile subreddit from Devlin16 that goes over the complete breakthrough cycle. So this is the beginning of the month. This is the first Thursday of June. And what that means is we will be going into a little bit more detail about the current glitches. Spoiler alert, nothing changed. And you can also see a video tutorial for every working glitch in our playlist Current Glitches linked in the description of this video. So if we start off with the not working glitches, there is no working glitch for credits that we're willing to endorse. We talk about the glitch that was being used in more detail in a previous Season 6, Episode 9 of our Q&A, which used to be called our P and Q and C and A and T. The main thing worth repeating to larger audience, and the reason why we haven't tested it since the bug fix updates that have happened since then, is that people were exploiting glitch requires 2 devices being logged simultaneously into one account, and that kind of activity puts you at risk of having your account suspended. So it was working a while ago. People might still be using it. You might be hearing mention of it. Wouldn't recommend that you do it. And the glitch for getting repeated past multiplayer season rewards is not working. The glitch for early multiplayer season rewards is not working in any way that's exploitable. It might be happening sometimes when people are getting a reward early and then not getting it for the end of the season. And yeah, it's a little bit random. So there's also no glitch to get through Phantom Zone quickly when it is around, and the glitch that used to let you get the free energy without watching the video when the button was not grayed out, also not working. Main thing now is we get to the working glitches. The biggest working glitch is basically a challenge reset that requires a Google Play Cloud save. It's confirmed on the current Arkham Knight Harley Quinn challenge. This is Android. We are on Android. That's why we can say that it's working. But if you're on iOS, talk to some other iOS users and figure out if you've got an option. I don't think the one that was working before still is. It was patched in the last bug fix. We've got a comment cut and pasted into the description from a viewer, Tanmay Kakde, who goes into how if you are an Android 10 and not enjoying the fact that when you uninstall Injustice, you have to re-download more than 1 gig of data. Not uninstall, sorry, clear app data. The possible solution is moving some files around, and the cut and pasted comment goes into where you would find the file and which one you need to move around. Breakthrough glitch, let you play it repeatedly, is still working. The airplane mode / refund glitch is still working. Good for packs with random drops and last laugh tickets. It does not work when you are for things that require an online connection, and the key is remembering to disconnect and only reconnect once you're done. See, there have been people that have been achieving something similar by logging out logging in and out of different accounts. We recommend that you don't do that because of the risk of account bleeding. Clearing app data is much safer, takes a little bit longer, not as fast, but definitely less dangerous. Time shifting still works in Android for unlimited survivor play and energy recharges. Remember, return your cooldown clock back to normal before you reconnect. Because if you don't, that's what keeps a lot of accounts from having the challenge and Phantom Zone and other events show up. They don't show up on time if you've been messing around with your clock. And the last sort of neither working nor not working glitch is the promotion glitch. that used to let you promote characters that were still locked in your store because the conditions have not been right since update 2.14, but the last time the conditions were present, the glitch was working. So it's not testable, but it also has not been falsifiable. It hasn't failed us yet when the conditions are right. So we'll remove it from the list when it fails us for the first time when it was supposed to be working. And that's it for this week. So a big thank you to our patrons on Patreon. That would be Alexis M, supporting us on the Your Message Here tier, Michael Devries, Irvin Ruiz, and Hoshi127, who are supporting us on the credited level, and the list of other people on your screen right now who have supported us at some point during this pandemic. And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Komoda.